I'm Dave Dinkle, and I'm here today with Erica Fernandez. Erica is the owner of Creative Title, and what we're going to talk about is I can't believe this happened. Erica has a couple examples, probably has thousands, but we're going to go over a few of them today, see what happens. Erica, introduce yourself. Tell us what you do. What is your business?
Well, my name is, like you said, my name is Erica with Creative Title. I am the owner. I have over 29 years of title experience. Creative has been open for a little bit over 19 years, and we deal strictly with investors. So I have a lot of I can't believe this happened stories. But you want me to start off with the first one?
Yeah, go right ahead.
We have a client that closes maybe one or two deals on a yearly basis, so we don't talk to him all the time, but we are familiar with who he is. We get a contract for a vacant lot that shows him as a seller. We start to process title. There's a minor title defect where the underwriter was calling for a recorded quitclaim deed that it was missing marital status on it. Initially, the investor that sent us the file gave us all the contact information, contact for the seller, contact for the buyer. We went ahead and used his information to contact our client, let's say, the seller. And we started telling him, okay, well, we need to go ahead and have your brother resign the quitclaim deed. And he said, why? Why do we have to resign it? He already signed the property over to me. And I said, I understand, but there's a title defect. All this was through email. So when I realized he wasn't understanding it, I said, go ahead and give me a call at the office and I'll further explain to you what the situation is. So when he called the office, it was not our client. He had a very thick accent. So everybody was like, they say it's so-and-so, but the reality is it doesn't sound like our client. So we take the call anyways, and we're like, listen, we want to speak to your brother. Give me his contact information directly and I'll get a hold of him. So he said, well, my brother is mute. He's deaf. He doesn't really hear, but go ahead, tell me what you need from him and we'll go ahead and get it for you. And I said, well, let's start off by you sending me your driver's license to make sure that I'm speaking to the correct person. So he sent over his license, and sure enough, it was not our client. It had all our client's information, but it was not his picture. It was somebody totally different. It was a very well-altered Texas driver's license. Luckily, I tracked the number of, our actual client, called him and said, hey, are you selling vacant lot located in Miami? And he goes, absolutely not. And I said, well, I have somebody who's saying it to you with your ID and wants to go ahead and sell this property. I think it was for like $75,000. So he told me that was the second time this has happened to him. Apparently somebody tried to sell that lot before, and the title agent as well knew who he was, coincidentally, so gave him a call and the transaction was stopped. So we wanted to further, try to get as much information as we could from the scammer so he would be aware of it. And once we started questioning him on it, he was just like, you know what? I'm not selling the property anymore. Take it off the market. I'm not selling it. So what we advise our client is, go ahead and maybe tie it up with a mortgage, file something that they have to get a hold of you, that, something that will let anybody who's examining title realize that they have to actually speak to the seller directly. And that was I can't believe it happened.
That's a good one because there's so much title fraud.
This client that called, supposedly, like I tell you, had a very thick accent. And it's just, even though we don't speak to the client all the time, because I can tell you, he doesn't wholesale properties on a monthly or weekly basis like most investors do, but he does do his, 1 to 2, 3 deals a year, enough for us to remember that that's not who we had spoken to. So he lucked out. So he went and he refinanced, got a hard money loan just to be able to tie the property in somehow. His hard money lender, he put them on notice as well. He's like, by the way, in the future, please verify with me first. They noted his file. It kind of worked out, but he got very lucky. And the fact that it almost happened twice is pretty crazy, but it is not uncommon with vacant lots. I've seen a lot of fraud with vacant lots.
Give us number 2.
Well, number 2 is actually one of yours. It's one of my fan favorites. You referred me a client that came with gift cards as his initial deposit. $5,000 in gift cards, and wanted me to apply the gift cards and give him an escrow deposit letter.
All right, one idea about that gift card guy, of course, I didn't tell him to do that, but someone must have told him that he could go online and buy the gift cards at a discount. So instead of putting up a $5,000 earnest money deposit, it might have only cost him $1,000 or $2,000, or there may not have been any money left on the gift cards. All right, give us another one.
So we had a refinance that was submitted to us. The property was quitclaimed several times, which is not really unusual, but when that happens, we kind of, go ahead and take a closer look at the file. So all the quitclaims were in place. Everything seemed accurate. We verified all the signatures and notaries on it. We're about 3 days about to close the file. Property is free and clear, doesn't have any outstanding mortgages. And then we get a call from a client of ours stating that she wants to know when she's going to get paid off on that file. So we pull the file. We tell her, well, we already showed that you had a payoff on this file. There's a SAT filed. We send her the SAT, and the actual owner had fraudulently filed the SAT. However, there was like a plot twist to it. The owner bought it from a wholesaler. The wholesaler told the current owner that the property was free and clear. So it wasn't the current owner who filed the fraudulent SAT. It was the wholesaler selling the property to the current owner who filed the fraudulent SAT. Give me $14,000. The property is yours. It did have liens and violations, so they were okay with it, and they knew they had to pay that off, but they were never told that there was a $30,000 mortgage attached to it. So the fraud didn't actually come from the person that was on title. It came from the person before them, which was a wholesaler.
Scary.
I mean, with all these, believe it or not, it's kind of like not who you know, but the fact that you have some sort of real estate knowledge. Since we've been in the business so long and mostly deal with investors, our name is common, just like we recognize a lot of their names. And that lady somehow got wind that the property was being refinanced by the current owner and said, oh, I closed it creative. Let me go ahead and give them a call. She got lucky because we would have closed that file and not realize we were so into going ahead and looking at, all the quitclaim deeds, because when you see so many quitclaims so often, that it does have a fraud sense to it. But in this case, it wasn't the deeds, it was actually the mortgages. And it was a personal mortgage, so it wasn't anything that would stick out to the underwriter or to us. On a brighter note, that file is reclosing. It finally did make it to the closing table. The current owner did take that loss, unfortunately, and she will pay off the outstanding mortgage along with the violations.
Erica, thank you very much. Appreciate it as always.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Be working with you in the future.
Thanks, Dave.
Bye.